Welcome back to the VHS Club. We, as usual, are having fun behind the scenes talking about what we love about this movie. So we're starting before you even get here. That's how much we love you. Well, hey, we have not one, but two special guests here today. So if you're just listening, then you're missing the opportunity to actually get to see in real life Paul and Chris hanging out here for us to talk about the Birdcage tonight. Thanks for coming on. And now there's no one in the studio audience.
That's because they're both.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing.
It's because we're both here.
Exactly. Well, I am super excited that you're here, and I know, Chris, like officially now, this is not. Maybe it's also your favorite movie. Wait, so where in the favorite movie rating system does Birdcage lie for you?
Ooh, that's interesting.
So it's True Lies, if we remember, right at the top, right? Does that we stay there?
Yeah. There's True Lies, but also there's like the spectrum. So there's like science fiction.
Okay.
There's like Harry Potter, which I also really like, and so the Birdcage is like a comedy that is just I can turn it on and just watch it and just laugh at the same jokes like every single time.
Yeah,
so
they're always funny. All right, Paul, same question. Where does Birdcage lie in your top 10? Is it in your top 10?
It's probably in my top 10. Yeah,
Nice.
I would say so.
Nice.
I'm the same. It's I can watch this. Well, and I probably have watched it between this one and the original more than 100 times, and I still laugh.
I know. I'm really, really sad because I failed this week in actually getting to rewatch it. So I only got to watch like the top 10 like YouTube clips from the movie, and it just made me so sad because I was like looking at the clock going, maybe I have time to rewatch it. I'm like, no, I don't, but I really watch it. Maybe I'll just cancel it and rewatch it. I was like, that would be terrible to cancel the show just so that I can rewatch it. Yeah, it is always funny. It's just always funny. Yes, how about you, Nat? Is it on your top 5? A movie list is so hard. There's like different categories of movies, right?
Exactly.
Like it's definitely in the top for comedies.
Definitely one that I rewatch every year. It's one that it's like I have this sort of unwritten list of things that I rewatch every year, and this is one of them.
Yeah, this is just the feel better movie. It's like the epitome of feel better movie.
That's it. Just the campy, glamorous, like over the top opening scene. It's like the music's playing, they're in the drag club, and you know instantly the serotonin hits you. It's a feel good movie. Like it makes me like I get happy immediately just the opening credits. Yeah. So I love it.
The thing I like about this movie too is it doesn't stereotype gay people.
Yeah. It doesn't at all.
It makes you feel like they're people, and it's you understand them, you can relate with them, and it's just and they make you laugh.
Yeah.
Which most of the time you're laughing at yourself. So
yeah, there was Nat sent a really amazing article that we'll drop into the show notes after we're done recording the episode. But there was a line in the article that said what was really absolutely fantastic and beautiful about this movie is that you are never ever laughing at these characters. You are always laughing with them. Like there is just like I don't know, like just a relatability to them. Like they are every couple, even though like their experience is really different than what my experience is. Like it's just like, it's so relatable for like a dinner party that goes wrong, trying to deal with people who have completely different backgrounds and opinions and thoughts, trying to like impress everyone. It's just so, it's just really beautifully done. But yeah, I think it's probably one of the few movies out there that doesn't feel like it's trying to like politicize or to change anyone's opinions or thoughts or feelings. Like it's just really pure in its representation.
Yeah, and also one of the things that I find really interesting is that this isn't the only movie that Robin Williams did that kind of like stereotyped that when he did Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah,
it kind of like changed
it
changed the like gender stereotype as well.
Yep.
Which was really, really interesting. Like it just like, yeah.
Which is one of our first fun facts, Chris. What's one of our,
really?
Yeah. No. You totally.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, you're a genius. You said it. Yeah, you set us up beautifully. It hilariously. So Robin Williams, I guess, was originally set to play Nathan Lane's character, and asked to play the opposite character because he had just come off from doing Mrs. Doubtfire, and he really just wanted to be able to take on a different take on this. Like he didn't want to be doing drag again this time, and for it to feel just like a ripoff of what he had done with Mrs. Doubtfire. And I think it's really great because it's a really different kind of role for him. Like he is rarely in any movie like overly masculine or kind of like that level of gruff, and he does it so brilliantly. Like,
he does it really well.
Yeah, and Nathan Lane is so incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Nathan Lane also could have played Mrs. Doubtfire and would have been fantastic. I really think he would have been able to pull it off. But yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting fact. I think so many of the like movie facts that Nat found and that I read through were all centered around these actors. And I think really like the entire cast carried this movie. Like it was beautifully written, really well written, but also just like again, we've said this a number of times throughout all these reviews, but just so perfectly cast. Like you can't imagine different actors playing this or the actors playing other roles.
Yeah.
Like especially Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, and Hank Azaria, who's just fantastic in this.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh,
one of my favorite Hank Azaria lines in this, it's near the beginning of the movie where he's in the kitchen, he's wearing one of Nathan Lane's wigs, and he's wearing like a little like bathing suit top with fruit in it, and Robin Williams is like, "What are you, Lucy?" He's like, "No, I'm both Lucy and Ricky." I love that. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's so funny, and it's just so quick, Yep.
I think, overall, the entire cast was incredible, but I think Hank Azaria and Gene Hackman kind of stole everything. Gene Hackman playing this far right-wing politician, and then his thing at the end, it was just hysterical.
Yeah.
It's just...
That would be really, like, I feel like probably the most difficult role to play out of everyone in this cast, because you have, for those who don't know the storyline, and we've gotten shorter and shorter with our storyline so we can have more commentary, but the plot of this movie is that Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are in a relationship. They own a drag club, and they are raising an adult son who is trying to get married to a woman who comes from a very conservative family. And so they are forced to, or they feel as though they're forced to, in order to help their son. They pretend to be straight for a party in order to win over Gene Hackman and his wife in this movie. And it would be like really difficult to play Gene Hackman's character, because he's not like, he needs to not be too much of a caricature, and he's up against these two like incredible, three if you count Hank Azaria, incredible comedic geniuses who are like, they are improv gods, and are just funny, even just by when they walk into the room, they're just funny. Like you feel the comedy coming off of them, and to have to play this like straight-laced, like, believing the story that they're giving, and and this like very, very different viewpoint would be really difficult, I think, to be able to get it and make it come across like in a way that is, I guess not a caricature of itself, for lack of a better word.
I remember watching this when it came out and thinking Gene Hackman's character is such like an exaggeration, like a parody of a Republican, not knowing, because I'm Canadian, that that's what they're like. I thought it was a big joke. I thought that was part of, I'm like, oh, they're exaggerating to character to make a huge contrast. But especially nowadays, you're like, oh, like, now it's a little depressing.
The underlie of all this even fits into today. The political
It really
issue
does.
and the drag. It's
Yeah.
hysterical.
Yeah, the timing of this is actually really nice.
Abortion. So in their farce of a dinner party, they have this conversation about abortion, which who would have thought that would be topical today, but it is.
I know it's all really relevant and topical today, unfortunately.
It's
in many
scary.
ways.
But when Nathan Lane in drag pretending to be a straight woman, clearly, obviously not, especially when the wig starts slipping. But when she says, oh, instead of, being mad, like making abortion laws, why don't you just legalize killing the mother? Like, just kill the mother and the fetus is going down at the ship anyways.
Yeah,
I
kill the
roared, 'cause I'm
mothers.
like,
That will
really?
stop them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's so funny. I mean, I feel like we might be at that point in certain places in the world, but I'm like, dear God. But it's fun. It's funny because it's true.
No, it's true, and like for me, like the reality is that when did this movie come out? Like 1990 what?
96, I believe.
Okay, so I was 16 years old. I mean, like for me, it was also like watching it with my mom. It was yeah, like it's hard because I wasn't out back then.
Oh, that would
And
be hard.
like
Yeah.
and like it was a hard time, and it was like she wouldn't accept it, but she would love to watch this movie
Yeah.
over and over and over and over and over again on repeat. So it's like, like there's a certain how can I say, like societal like importance that this movie actually had
Yeah.
at the time in 1996.
Yep.
That was actually really important, and like a lot of people like it was a really important movie, and also for such a famous actor like Robin Williams to play a gay man. That was huge. Like that was just massive.
Yeah, and again, like not just a gay man, but like not. I feel like, and maybe your mom was a little bit taken in by this as well, Chris. But like there's something about like the flamboyant, flamboyant, like Nathan Lane's character, who's I mean, a lot of times in drag is like crazy flamboyant. Yeah, like is just like over the top in everything, right? Like I feel like that is how Robin Williams acted in many of those movies, and really kind of like not normalized that stereotype, I guess, and just made it feel like it was like, oh, like this is like a funny character, and people were so sort of distracted by that they weren't really thinking like of the details behind it. So I think it's really great that he didn't play that character in this role, like that, that people were forced to see him like in, on the other side of that relationship and in a different stereotype, that they didn't see as often, and it was just normalized. Like it felt, I think, really, really, again, relatable and normal, which was like really novel at that time. Like, unfortunately,
I like how the movie made things like it made us laugh after the pandemic in the 80s that the LGBTQ plus community really had to suffer through. So this kind of like for the community alone just got to laugh again. So that I love this movie for. Also just like seeing, Armand and Albert's sort of story and how they have this son, and they had like a surrogate mom who was somebody that Armand worked with on kind of like, I guess, they kind of implied like a Broadway type job, like theater job, and just how it made it so simple, and like how also they had like not a marriage contract because it especially wasn't legal in Florida at the time, but how they had like an alimony contract. So it's like it just made everything seem possible. And
Mhm.
that's what I loved about it. And it just
Yep.
easy and normal, and like, you know, you can do this and people can do this. And that's one of the things that really touches me with this one.
Yeah, I was watching like an interview with with the creators of Schitt's Creek, which is another just incredible show. If you have not yet
Amazing
seen that,
show.
if you haven't seen it, you really need to see it.
Watch it.
But they were talking a lot about like the decisions behind the characters on their show, which I think is really like similar to the feel in this, where you know they were like, we just really wanted to show a world where like it didn't feel so intense, like the homophobia didn't feel so intense, and there was just like these like this is just a normal relationship, these are just people, like these are all different kinds of families, like and different kinds of, you know, different kinds of relationships. And I think they pulled it off really beautifully on that show, where it didn't even feel like, oh, you know, we're seeing a gay couple to teach us about about gay couples. Like you're just seeing a couple, and I felt like it was really similar in this movie. And like hearing Dan Levy talk about that show kind of made me think as I was preparing for this episode, like, oh, like that would have been again like really quite novel in the mid 90s to be able to pull that off in a way that this movie was wildly successful. It did really well in the box office. Like it's not like people didn't see it or there was this huge like, you know, like response back to it. Like people somehow, and really upsettingly, people were like fine with drag when Robin Williams was doing it back in the 90s.
Well, even
now,
this
not
movie
so much.
and To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, also was a huge box office smash. It's like nobody had problem with gay or drag in the 90s. It's like it's a new thing. I mean, people did, but in film they didn't.
I mean, I've been around for a couple of years, and I remember as a kid, there were movies from the 50s with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon where they would, you know, Some Like It Hot, where they were in drag.
Some Like It Hot, such a good movie.
That's actually one of my favorite movies. That's in my top 2.
And people just, they laughed at the movie and they had no issue. It's like when it suddenly became like, oh, there are guys that dress, you know, it's like, ooh, you know, it's like, oh, come on, please.
No, really.
But you really want controversial, just watch the Golden Girls. Like Jesus, like they just like it was brutal, the stuff that came out. Like you're just like, you can't say that on TV anymore because you're gonna have some right wing or some left wing person that's gonna be like, you can't say that. But
between Golden Girls and All in the Family, it's like, you know, you couldn't produce those movies anymore or shows anymore.
No. But no. Like I love watching like even The Nanny. Like some of the stuff that was
The Nanny.
Like I love The Nanny. Like just watching it on like YouTube, just like if I'm, you know, like I have nothing, like I'm just like, okay, I have like 5 minutes. I'm just gonna put on like YouTube and see like what like the newest Golden Girls like they're gonna pop on.
I watch that show every week with my parents. I was like it is interesting, like the difference of what people totally thought was acceptable and like fine, and now it's like it's such a talking point and everything is a lightning rod issue. It's too bad because they're just
the farce
isn't so
in the movie, the farce is in reality.
It's just upsetting. But I guess on a funnier note, now that we've talked about all the seriousness of this movie, there's some like absolutely brilliant scenes in this movie. So I will go on record saying my absolute favorite scene, and I rewatched it right before we jumped on, is Robin Williams' character explaining to Nathan Lane how to be more like a man.
How to walk?
How to walk like a man, and giving John Wayne as an example. And how to hold your other fork. And Nathan Lane like can't even hold his hand without like shaking. He's so nervous. And trembling. And that one I think is my like number one favorite scene in this movie. Number 2 is the soup scene where Hank Azaria's character is making them soup, and like the whole thing is.
It's like that old sort of French farce where they're like going. So Hank Azaria's in the kitchen, and Armand is running around. So he's going from the dining room to the kitchen. They're trying to
Yeah.
serve the soup, have a conversation, stop the biological mother from coming up to the apartment
Yep.
because now Albert is pretending to be a straight woman, and and then he keeps going back to the kitchen and chugging like
Wine.
Glenfiddich, like
Yeah.
just straight out of the bottle.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's so funny. Just the
And it-
circle, it's literally a circle. They're
What-
running in circle.
what-
It's so
what-
good.
What I like about his outfit is that like he's like wearing like a stuff like a butler would wear, except that his pants are way too high and
Yeah.
he's not wearing socks. So he kind of like it's just
And he
this,
keeps
like,
falling down.
And he keeps falling down.
because
Yeah.
he's not used to wearing like dress shoes.
Yeah.
Because he can't wear shoes.
Yeah, he says,
Exactly.
what was something about I don't wear shoes
Hank
because I
Azaria
fall?
falls in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he falls in that scene, and
So
I
good.
guess movie fun fact, he slipped and fell like for real in that scene, and they were just like great, brilliant, and kept,
Really?
and kept, yeah, and kept it going because it was just
Done.
everything about it was
Check.
great. Yeah, check.
That's really
Absolutely
fun.
brilliant. So that I would say probably is my second favorite, and then my third favorite, and then I'm interested to hear if these are your three or if there's different ones. But my third favorite is Nathan Lane's like complete and total drama queen breakdown.
Oh,
and,
like right at the beginning.
yeah, and Robin Williams has to like break down the door. He's like, unlock the door, and like breaks the door down, and they have this like ridiculous back and forth, and they're arguing. And I just like, again, like, I don't like, I'm not like, neither me or my husband are overly dramatic with each other. We don't really have like these crazy big fights, but again, it's just so relatable. Like,
And
there's something about it. That's
Yeah,
really
love
cool.
what I really liked about that was like you could tell that Robin Williams, like his like character was like, oh god, it's happening
Yeah,
again.
please,
Like,
please
okay,
just
like,
go on stage. Yeah.
okay, I have to like I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna speak to him. This
Yeah.
is not the first time this has happened.
It won't be
I
the
love
last.
him. It's not gonna last. He's gonna be dramatic. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And he just walks in and just like yeah, it's just like his
If you-
reaction was just
If you go
so-
backstage to, if you're backstage at a drag show, it's pretty realistic. To be fair, I'm just saying.
Hello, I dated a
Accurate.
dancer who used to work at Meadow, so yeah.
There,
I
one of
used
the
to be
things
a
in that-
backup dancer for some queens at Meadows.
I had a
I
friend
love
Trixie.
backstage at a drag.
Oh, Paul, I thought you were gonna say like I used to do drag. I would have been like,
No,
you'd be like show
Do
me
tell.
photos. Please.
however, one of these days I should share a picture of me when I was a kid in the Popcorn Day Parade in the town that my grandmother grew in.
Popcorn Day Parade.
What's a
That's
Popcorn
incredible.
Day Parade?
I
What
love
is
it.
Huh?
that? What's
The
a
town
Popcorn
of
Day
Sh-
Parade?
The town of Shaler, Iowa, was known as the popcorn capital of the world because they had Jiffy Pop, Jolly Time, all the major. It's a very small town, but all the major popcorn companies were kind of based there. So every year we had a Popcorn Day Parade.
Paul,
There
you
is
were
a
born to be on this
popcorn
show.
in the
Where is your
States.
popcorn?
This is like
And-
this is like mind blown. Like I didn't even know that. There's like
Yeah,
a
one year-
popcorn town.
One year I was in the parade and I was in a red shift, all dressed up with a nice red purse, pushing my bicycle down the road.
Amazing.
That's
I love
I
it.
love it.
Oh, yes, we need to see
Going back to
pictures.
Going back to the movie.
I need photographic evidence of that.
I'll dig it out.
Awesome.
But in that particular scene we were talking about, the one of the things that made me laugh was, Albert's having this total meltdown and he goes, I was young and full of hope. Now I'm a short, fat, insecure, middle-aged thing. And Armand looks at him and says, I made you short.
I made you short. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh,
Oh.
so good.
I love it. Oh,
I have to.
the other person that we really have to talk about is Callista Flockhart.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
seriously, like I feel like if she turns sideways, she like vanishes. Like you really can't see her. She's just so like she's like this.
She's
And it's-
always
She
been like
still
that,
is.
though.
Like,
She
Yeah.
still
That's
is.
That's just her
Sandwich.
metabolism.
like, at least
Yeah.
1 or 2 or like 4 sandwiches, like Philly cheesesteaks or something. Like she needs to eat, man.
She has one of the best lines though in this movie where like I think it's like right before the dinner party, like before they officially sit down for dinner at the dinner party, and she like for a second either actually forgets or is just being adorable, but she calls Nathan Lane's character his mom. she's like your mom is so cute, and he's like, that's not actually my mom, like you're aware of that, right? And she's like, oh right.
I know. And
purity in that moment.
She's married to Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Which
Like,
Natalie's still not happy about.
She's married to like Han Solo. Like this, how?
I
like,
don't know. I just don't even know.
And
And for a long time, she's been with him for a long
like
time.
it's really one of the like serious relationships in Hollywood that like have lasted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go figure. Well, she was good. She was good in this. I mean, like, she didn't have.
She was.
She's probably like not her as an actress, but the character is like kind of the least interesting of the characters. But like to be like surrounded, especially at that age, by like so many like Hollywood A-listers and like comedic.
I'm just gonna
people.
shut up now and like.
Well, she was playing a 19-year-old, so
Yeah.
I mean, she was young and she played the character well.
Yeah.
Can we talk about? So we have a good drag scene in Montreal.
Mhm.
We have good drag across Canada. We do,
Yeah.
and the production
You did see me on
value
Tuesdays.
that is in this club, like, what is their budget? Like,
Where
that's
is this club?
insane.
Inquiring minds need to know. Yeah, exactly. It is. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the
It's like
stage
you go to
production
San
of-
Francisco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. You got to go out. Paul's in the heart of it. Any ones that are like almost that good in your area, Paul? Are they?
Yeah, I mean, there's some up here that it's like, oh my gosh. Well, and Mark
In
who's
Iowa?
in our
No, he's in San Francisco.
California. I'm south of San Francisco.
I'm like, is it part of the popcorn festival?
The Popcorn Drag Festival. Yeah.
That would be
Popcorn drag?
amazing.
Like,
I left the gay corn back there.
Yeah.
oh, good one. I like it. That's good.
Yeah, Katie and I, when we had gone to San Francisco a few years back, we did some wandering and we ended up bumping into a couple of drag queens, and it's like they had to fight me to not go in the club because we had a dinner reservation. I'm like, no, but I want to go there. I see sparkles and pretty people.
Years
Yeah,
ago,
it's
I
all
was with
over.
some friends up there on Halloween,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were riding a cable car. I think we were going
Oh,
down to
cable
Fisherman's
cars.
Wharf,
Yep.
That's like
and this
gay
big limo
Christmas.
pulls.
Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. This big limo pulls up next to us, and there's this older couple, and this guy goes, "Look, it's Dolly Parton," and he's just freaking out because Dolly Parton is in this limo next to us.
Yeah.
Was it really her? No,
Was it
wasn't her.
really? Yeah, I was gonna say, was it?
And I'm like sitting here to
Because
my,
if it was
I
really
turned to
her,
my
I would have been freaking out too.
Yeah.
Like,
I turned to my friend and I said, "Should I burst his bubble?"
No, don't break his heart. It's not worth it.
And it was
Dolly
just
is a gay icon. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drag impersonators
Dolly,
that do
there's
Dolly.
Cher, there's
But
Madonna.
it was
Yeah.
so hysterical. This guy was just like, I mean,
Besides
besides himself.
yeah.
It was like, he's like my age now, but he was like acting like a teenager and just like,
It's just like,
it was
oh my
like hysterical.
You
Yeah, I
should
would
see
absolutely
me
lose
around
it if I
Celine
met
Dion.
Dolly.
I'm like, I just go like,
It's very, very Quebec gay of you, Chris. To be Celine Dion.
Okay, everybody loves singing.
It's very
okay?
true.
Let's be
It's very
honest.
true. I know. We used to go to Nichols restaurants that she founded. We were
Oh,
like,
I
oh my
think
god,
so.
we're in Celine's restaurant. It's so
the
exciting.
one
Uh-oh.
on Nichols. Oh my God, Nichols. Oh my God.
It was like it sort of had like a 50s diner vibe to it. It was,
That was awesome.
Yeah.
like a
Um,
chain of restaurants in Quebec in the 90s.
It's like
Um,
Denny's, but way nicer.
Yeah.
If that counts.
Katie, you should go on my Facebook if you have not seen my albums yet of me and Celine Dion.
I will definitely. We may be forced to share some fun clips on Instagram following for listeners following around. We have Doc hanging out in the comments with us. Doc says this is somewhat normal for clubs I worked in Hawaii and Japan. And there's one place in Honolulu that was heavily covered in gold. See, now we need pictures.
Love gold. It's like a James Bond movie.
But my question for Doc is, did you shave your chest?
Yes.
Oh, that's my question for Doc is not if he shaved his chest. Sorry. Sorry.
I love at the beginning of the movie, Nathan Lane. So Albert is getting like half in drag. And then finally when Armand calms her down and is like, okay, we're going to go on stage. You're going to do fabulous. She starts shaving and powdering her chest and her face. I'm like, honey, like to put on your makeup is going to take you 3 hours. There's no way that you're just starting now. You know?
Well, that
was the only unrealistic thing in the movie.
His response to that was, I didn't have time to wax.
I didn't have time to wax, yeah.
Which is my excuse all the time. But
Nathan Lane, so good. It just made me want to rewatch every Nathan Lane movie.
This was the 7th incarnation of La Cage aux Folles.
Seriously,
the 7th.
So for anyone watching or listening that doesn't know this movie is based on a movie that came out in the early 70s. But yeah, the 7th.
Age of the Mad Women in 1973. Wow. It was a play by Jean Poiret and Francis Weber.
But there's a movie as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so play and then a movie and then 7 different versions of this? That's incredible.
The Birdcage was the 7th incarnation of the French farce La Cage aux Folles.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, apparently the original movie and maybe also the play also takes place in instead of being in Miami as this movie is, it takes place in Saint Tropez, which I was like, exactly. I would like to be there. I had some feelings. I was like, sad face. This is where I would like to be right now.
Yeah, and it apparently started an American TV pilot called Adam and Eve.
Oh, I haven't heard
that
one.
failed.
Yeah,
it checks out.
I don't know.
Yeah,
short-lived.
Of course it failed because we would have heard.
Too much for American TV.
Too much for American TV, but Golden Girls, no problem. All good.
See, Golden Girls were women.
Yeah,
you can't have gay guys on TV, but you can have older, women living together.
Yeah,
sassy women. Yeah.
Sassy women. Yeah, people love sassy women. People love sassy women and flamboyant gay men. This is what we have learned from watching these movies and TV.
I mean, The Odd Couple worked, because they were both supposedly married, even though, the one was very flamboyant and all this stuff. People didn't see that part. They didn't relate to that part, even though it was blatantly there. People just didn't see that part. It was two straight men living together and, cohabitating as bachelors.
It's Bert and Ernie all over.
The one
exactly.
That's to be straight. Oh my God.
The one part of this movie that I found was a little sad was when, Albert and Armand's son Val, he asks them to basically play straight to meet his fiance's family.
Yeah, that part is a little bit problematic. Not gonna lie.
And Armand said, like, I've taken 20 years to get to this point. I'm not going back. Yeah. And the way he played it and the emotion he had, and he said it calmly, but you could see how hurtful it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why I love the sort of redemption arc for Val at the end of the movie, because obviously his parents love him. They're going to do whatever they can for him. Yeah. But at the end of the movie where he's like, you know what? This is my mom, meaning Albert. And these are my parents. And I apologize for being such a child and asking them to pretend to play straight.
Yeah.
And that was really moving.
The key thing in that whole scene was when he went up and he said, "This is my mom," but he grabbed Albert's wig and pulled the wig off to expose that Albert. And then the fact that Gene Hackman couldn't understand that this woman that he's been like guffawing over and thinking is this absolutely wonderful, sweet
charming,
woman
wonderful, sweet old woman. Yeah.
This beautiful conservative woman. I did gasp when he snatched the wig off his mom's head because I was like, you don't snatch a wig off a queen's head. Like, he's going to get hurt.
Touch that. Don't touch that.
Yeah. And you're going to get a heel through your eye.
What's the name of Val's mom? I know she plays Sheldon mom on The Big Bang Theory. I just don't know the actress's name.
Baracus. What's her first name? Catherine.
I don't know.
Catherine.
Doc,
Yeah,
Catherine
Doc can
Barranquez?
fact check us. Or Chris can fact check us.
I do
Yeah, I'll
right
have
here.
to keep going.
Where's she at?
So what happens when
Yeah,
all of the moderators
She
are in
played
are in the
Catherine
show?
Archer. Yeah,
Archer.
Archer.
her real name's Christine
There.
Baranski, but
Baranski.
her
I
but
knew
her
like she was
character
Polish or
was
like
Catherine
Ukrainian or
Archer.
something. Like yeah.
I mean, the other
She's-
person in here too was Diane Weiss. I mean,
Yeah.
she played this
she
kind of
was incredible. She
quiet,
played
you know, in the
perfect
background.
conservative mother, like perfect.
I
And-
love, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to watch this movie, but the scene where they sit down to dinner and they're having soup and she just like looks down at the bowl and there's just like naked men in the bowl and she's like, looks like Greek men. Can you get my glasses? I can't see.
Are they playing Leapfrog?
Are they playing
Are
Leapfrog?
they playing Leapfrog?
Yeah, it was so
Close.
again, just like so believable, but like brilliant in its comedy. Like everything was like over exaggerated, but like also not. Like I feel like we've all been to those
It
dinner
reminds
parties.
me of my mother.
Yes.
That's something exactly my mother would say.
Yes, we've all
Well,
been to
you know,
those dinner parties where you're like, yep, this is just not gonna go well. Like, and everything goes bad. There's always like every one of those characters exists in some way in every of those situations.
Well, and it was funny because both of her parents needed glasses to see, so they were kind of like looking, and then
They were
you know
blind.
Nathan Lane's character is like going, "Oh, I have girls. Don't
I
you
have
have a
girls,
girl?"
don't you have
And then Gene Hackman goes, "You know, I don't know how long it's been, but that's definitely not a girl."
Oh, it was so good.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
love at the end of the movie. So he's a senator. He's dealing with a scandal from somebody who backed him.
Aren't they always? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like Republicans should just embrace the fact that they're doing the worst things.
You have
Like,
a
it's
baby
not a
in the room.
scandal. Like, it's not a scandal to find out a Republican senator was having sex with an underage prostitute. Let's just be honest. Like,
It's pretty commonplace, unfortunately.
that
I do that
aside,
every weekend. Like seriously, really.
that aside,
Jokes.
I lost my thought. The plot's gone. Sorry.
You were talking about the senator. He was dealing with somebody who was having an affair.
Oh
with
yes,
an under-
they have to
prostitute.
sneak out. So the press have found him, and he doesn't want to get caught in further scandal because he's now at this gay club with this gay couple, and he's a Republican who's backing like the good Christian dialogue. So they dress him in drag to sneak him out
I
of the
was just
club.
going to say, like he dresses in drag in the end,
And
right?
he's pretty cute. He's pretty
Yeah.
cute in drag. And what I loved about that is it makes me think of RuPaul, who is like, everybody needs to be put in drag once in their life. Like, just to know, because it will change your life. And it's true. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, he kind of reminds me of some governor from Florida that is trying to get rid of things, and then he's suddenly stuck in the midst of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to name names. They know who they are. So does everybody else.
I mean, one of the things too, when they're preparing the house, because the house is very flamboyant, I guess is a way of putting it. They have lots of phallic statuary, and so all the drag queens from the club are helping them straighten the house, so to speak.
Oh, it's incredible. The layers in this movie.
Val comes out with these Playboys and it's like, what are these? That's what they have in their bathroom.
It's like they were trying to like
Really well done.
You just went the other way.
straighten up a little too much. And I love how at the end result is it basically looks like a monastery, which I'm like, that in itself is also a joke.
The crucifix and those
Crucifix
chairs. It was like
The
awesome.
crucifix and the chairs. And then
Gothic chairs.
when the club like starts up and the music is playing, and they're like, oh, is that from the club down the street? And Robin Williams is like, he was like, oh, I forget whether it was Robin Williams or Nathan Lane, but they were like, oh, we always thought that was the TV downstairs. Like they're just
that
like
was Nathan
neighbors
Lane.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. And yeah, I do love how so the Senator Keeley's like biggest fear when he was in drag in the moment, in the heat of the moment, and they're all dancing to We Are Family, all the queens, the whole club is dancing. And his biggest concern is he doesn't want to be left alone because nobody's dancing with him. He's like, nobody's dancing with me. Am I ugly? Like what? And that's his biggest concern, not the fact that there's reporters and cameras in the club. You know?
Yep.
It's just immediate. He's like, I don't have a dance partner. I'm like, yeah, everybody's got to try it once. It's fun.
Oh my gosh.
I did read a quote Robin Williams was saying about, like, yes, he didn't want to make his character play a similar character to Mrs. Doubtfire, but also he's like, drag is a drag. It's really hard. He's like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
sure.
do it again. He's like, it's so much work. And I'm sure Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire didn't need to like tuck or anything. So, but still, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of makeup, a lot of padding, costumes. Like these ladies put in so much work, and I have so much respect for them.
Well,
Yeah, seriously.
I laughed at the beginning because, in the pre-show when, it's kind of just getting started, they're dancing and all this stuff, and then they finish their song and there's this scene change. And, in some cases you're like going, are those really guys? Some of them look, really good as women.
Really good.
And then
Yeah.
you clip off to the back and, here's this guy and takes his outfit off, and there's another guy kind of like putting the fake breast back on him, and
Yeah.
he has his like little thong and all this stuff, and then he's putting his outfit on as like proof.
Yeah, he's a guy. And it's funny, I used to do ballet when I was a kid, and that's very much like backstage of a show when there's a big production. It's like you just go side stage, somebody is taking your clothes off, somebody's shoving new tights on you, like because
You
it's
sit
crazy
down
if
as
you have
well?
to go for a quick change.
There's a chaos
Yep.
to it.
Yes.
Ballet is kind of
Speak-
drag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that I laughed about was, during the dinner session where Robin Williams comes into the kitchen and it starts kind of yelling at poor Hank about the fact of cooking and all this stuff. And he comes in there and he says something about, where did it go? I just lost
I love
it.
that Paul wrote down all of his favorite quotes. We'll have to post your quotes afterwards, Paul, to just really share all the fun inspiration. While Paul's finding it, I am working on getting up our movie list, and as soon as we're done here chatting, I'll show you what we have so far. But I'll make sure we get it up shareable in the next week or so. But coming soon.
Oh, yes. He says, never felt such tension. It's like riding a psychotic horse through the burning stable.
That's such a
And then-
Again, relatable. I just like all I can say is it's relatable. Super.
I love
super
there's one
relatable.
scene when they're having their champagne to toast the happy fianced couple.
Yeah, the couple.
And Robin Williams just needs to like catch breath for a second because he's so tense and everything's going so badly, and he stumbles outside on the patio, which they hung just bolts of material to cover that whole wall because like you couldn't straighten that patio no matter how hard you tried. And he goes outside and his son Val tumbles out after him, and he's like, oh my god, you're so sweaty. And I thought that was funny because Robin Williams was famously
sweaty. Yeah.
sweat like
Sweaty
a
man.
beast.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
he'd do his stand-up comedy and it's just pouring
It would
down
just
him.
pour off him. He would have like
I'm like-
17 bottles of water on the stage and just like go through them in seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I was wondering, I'm like, I bet that line was probably improv.
Just-
That was probably
just-
just something that happened that he just said and they kept it because I'm like, that was probably very true. He's in a 3-piece suit. Like,
Well, that was
in
Miami.
Miami.
Probably one of my favorite facts about this movie that you sent along, Nat, was that the director basically told both Robin Williams and Nathan Lane that they were not allowed to improv these roles, and that like they basically like he gave them like brief moments where it was like, okay, you're allowed to improv, like once you've done all of this other stuff then you can improv, because the script is so brilliant anyway. But then you have these
Yep.
like I mean not even just the two of them, you have multiple actors that were in this movie who were just phenomenal at improv that could have
Yeah,
easily gone off and it could have been like a 5-hour movie and probably still would have been hilarious. But
I think all of them except for Callista. I mean, I'm not discounting her, but I could see all of them except for Callista being, very good at ad-libbing
Improv.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
improv all over
Oh,
the place.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. Look, what was she in? She's most famous for
Ally
Ally
McBeal.
McBeal.
Yeah.
She
Very
started that
funny
the year
show.
after this.
Off the
Yeah.
Oh,
cuff.
was it the year after? Wow,
It's such a
interesting.
weird show.
It's a weird
But-
show, yeah.
Yeah, but like she's not on the same level
No.
as the other ones.
Yeah,
No,
actually,
she
she's
plays the
probably
quirky, awkward, cute kind of very well, but it's like not the same as. Yeah, it's not the same type of comedy as like Nathan Lane and Robin Williams. So.
She probably
Yeah,
is one of the few that could actually have been replaced. Not to speak badly of her, but there is a lot of actors that could have done that and been fine.
Yeah, I mean, I was even surprised with the character that played Val. How
Same. Yeah,
good he worked into this. And apparently he's actually now known for. I mean, he wrote the screenplay for Capote and stuff like that.
Really?
So
Wow.
he's won awards for his screenwriting and stuff like that. But he
That's
was.
awesome.
I mean, he was really good in this.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. All right, well, we are
Yeah, it was very
nearing
well balanced.
we're nearing the end. Kimberly is late, but we'll forgive her because we love her so very much. And she can catch the replay. I
don't
wanted
know you, Kimberly, but you're a very bad person.
Chris doesn't
No, we
mean
love
that.
Kimberly.
Chris doesn't mean
And
that.
Doc-
Chris, that means
Doc-
Chris missed last week.
Yeah, Doc
Yeah,
did mention the fact that's and I had forgotten about that the series Soap with the gay son and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The series
Absolutely.
Soap?
Yeah.
Oh God, now I'm really old. Yeah, that is one that you should.
I know that one.
Was it Billy Crystal? No, who was that?
I'm gonna YouTube that shit right now. Sorry.
Chris will
Yeah,
be back
I
in a
mean,
few minutes.
It was that was landmark. That was when there was a first reoccurring gay character in a late night soap opera.
Yeah.
So growing up in a very liberal-minded family and in having that privilege being in Montreal, which is a very flamboyant city. So it was never a question growing up whether, it just is normal, So
Yeah.
I remember watching as a kid Perfect Strangers.
Uh,
And I always thought
love that
Balky
show.
was right. It's fantastic. So my point is, I always thought Balky was gay, and then I was shocked when he had a girlfriend one season, and I'm like,
You're
I
like-
beg your pardon, and I was so insulted as a kid.
Girlfriend. Yeah.
I'm like, but he's gay. Why doesn't he have a boyfriend?
because
So,
he had
yeah,
a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's a lot of these shows were like really
They just
very
couldn't
groundbreaking.
quite get there, but they tried. But but this one pulled it off.
Yeah.
All right, well-
Soap was back in 1977, and Billy Crystal was the very.
I thought it
first,
was Billy Crystal. Yeah.
Billy
Yeah,
Crystal
was-
was in it? Oh my god, I'm
Yeah,
gonna watch it.
he was the very first reoccurring gay character in prime time.
It makes me feel better that so many of these like really iconic like comedic actors were like not only willing to take this on, but just like do it brilliantly. Like I like
Yes.
really like not make it into a farce. I know that there's farce in this movie, but not make that aspect of it into a farce and really just take it on in a really authentic, pure way, which I think is just incredible and made a huge difference. Like really, there's something to be said for that.
So fun
No,
fact.
it's a very,
Ooh.
very well done movie. Like
Yeah.
really for like 1996, it just
And it
just-
holds, like you said, we've said this a number of times in this episode, but it holds
holds
up. It holds up better than most 90s movies. Like it still feels really relevant today. It still feels like a
think the
talking
fashion's
point
back.
today. Yeah, it feels like nothing about it feels overly dated. It could have just as easily been made last year, and we would have been like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
that checks out.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
if you can find, I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube, Billy Crystal and Robin Williams one time were on, I believe it was Jay Leno. The power had gone out. They had
no.
generators running, but they weren't sure if the show was still live or not. Like they didn't know if it was still broadcasting.
Yeah.
So the two of them just did stand up for like
Can you
over an
imagine
hour.
being in that audience? Like what a perfect.
Well, we were
turn of
watching
events.
it. live. Like I remember watching it with my dad, and it was the funniest thing ever. And they just went off the cuff, and poor Jay Leno was just like, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just sit here.
He's just like, I'm gonna sit down and enjoy the show with everybody else. They didn't know if they were broadcasting. There was no commercial breaks. So it was like, anyways, so yeah, they're fantastic, funny people, and groundbreaking.
I just saw Robin Williams, just as like a final thing, like Robin Williams talking about hurricanes, and he's saying like how they name hurricanes and why they're so
I
gay.
remember that. Yeah, I remember that one.
And
Yeah,
just like I burst out laughing every time I hear it because
he was iconic. I mean, really,
brilliant.
he was brilliant. It's just such a. We were so lucky to have him for the time that we did, and it's just such an absolute tragedy that we don't have him anymore. Because just able to bring like laughter, but again, just like in this really like, I don't know, I keep saying pure, but pure way. Like he was
crazy,
just really
like eccentric, pure, like
and
golden.
bridged the gaps.
Golden.
Like people loved him no matter what they believed in or thought or what their political preference was. Like he was funny and relatable to everyone, and that is incredibly difficult. And it would be challenging to find anyone quite as amazing as him. Certainly, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but. Oh, it's a sad thing. All right, well, on to happier news. Here's our movie list for everyone that's keeping up with us. So if you were listening, if you were, well, Chris gets up and close. Yeah, this is our movie list. So we are putting this so that we can make it public, but just so everyone knows, we are not ignoring all of your movie recommendations. They're
probably already on the list.
Wow. They're in absolutely no order, and I have been crossing them off as we go. But what I'm trying to do, and what I'm close to pulling off, Nat and I are close to pulling off, is having a database where you can see all the movies on the list, add your own, and hopefully also be able to leave notes on movies. So if it's your favorite and you want to share like a fun story, or if it's your, you want to share a fun fact or whatever, you'll be able to add that in, and then we can chat about it if we haven't done it yet. Which one, Chris?
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh, see,
like the original, like with Christian Slater and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio,
of course,
and Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
Alan Rickman, cut your heart out with a spoon. Why a spoon?
Cut your heart out
duller.
with a spoon. Why a spoon? Because it's gonna hurt more, or whatever he says.
Exactly. It's dull. It'll hurt more.
and Doc says we can turn this into a scrolling credits overlay. I know I ran out of time today, but
nice.
but look, there's there are 4 pages of this, so it's very thorough at the moment.
I even have some notes that you guys will see that I wrote in brackets.
Yeah. Natalie has crazy notes. Did Natural Born Killers inspire?
Sorry,
full frontal. Natural Born Killers, did it inspire real serial killers?
Abominable Doctor.
Starship Troopers. What did you write there? Rolling
Stone top 100 of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a pretty
Starship
awful
Troopers.
movie.
Well, it's meant to be. It's a parody.
It's pretty awful that it's just amazing.
It's good, but it was made that way. So it is actually on the Rolling Stones top 100 movies of the 90s. Which I'm like, good. I made one of our friends watch it last summer, our friend Simon, and he was like, "What is this? This is terrible." And then he's like,
"Oh,
this
I remember
is the
that.
Best movie I've ever seen."
It's awful. It's so good.
Well, so the movie list is coming. So just so you didn't think that we were ignoring you, we're not ignoring you. Look at it. It's here. It's in work in progress. We'll get there soon. And hopefully there are some that are not just all 5 potatoes, because I feel like we've done nothing but 5 potatoes. But
we haven't given any potatoes.
We haven't given this one any potatoes yet. So for Doc and Kimberly watching live in the audience, let us know how many potatoes you think this one gets. Doc is saying we're men in tights.
Oh, yes.
That's all I ever hear when I think of Robin Hood. The Robin Hood Men in Tights has forever swayed me.
I do automatically go to Mel Brooks.
Yeah, Mel Brooks, really absolutely classic. Well, I didn't ask everyone what their potato reviews were, so let me see if I've got this one right. I feel like I have ideas and feelings. All right, Nat, how many potatoes is this movie?
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Paul, how many potatoes?
5 out of 5.
5. Chris, potatoes?
5.
5. 5 potatoes. Here we are, 5 potatoes, one for everyone, and a bonus one for Doc and Kimberly. We assume also rated this 5 potatoes. If you haven't seen this one, seriously, it is worth a watch. If you have seen it, it is worth a rewatch. I am going to rewatch it probably like 4 or 5 times this week because I'm like depressed that I haven't had time to rewatch it yet. But even just watching the clips like made me literally want to cancel tonight's episode. Like that's how good even just the clips are. Like it's just
we had to do it. This is our under the nose for Pride Month, and I told Katie if we don't do a Pride-centric movie in Pride Month, I'm going to lose it.
Yes. Well, happy Pride Month to everyone, and I'm glad we were able to get this one in under the wire. We've been celebrating all month, but we haven't done an official VHS Club Pride focused review. So I'm glad that this was the one because I think. Again, like there's a positivity to this movie that is just nice. I would like to live in a world where we don't have to keep talking about this in like such a negative. Like I just want to live in a world where it's like let's just live our lives and all like celebrate each other and all appreciate each other's differences. Can't we just get along? Everybody
is a person.
Everybody is a person. Everybody is a person. So yeah, this movie did a really fantastic
job.
Everyone
is equal, but some people are treated more equally. That's what was it? The what was that book? Animal Farm? Yeah.
Animal Farm. Yeah. Oh, take me back. Animal Farm. I'm like everyone is created equally, and some people are jerks. Stopping jerks, everyone. Please, let's live in a world where Robin Williams and Nathan Lane can just be awesome, and we can laugh. That is where we would like to be. Yeah. We all deserve a laugh. Doc says 20 tater. He says 5, and then he says 20. You're right. We need like a. Yeah. We need a really cool like Christian tater like explosion where it just like rains taters. So if any animators out there are looking for a fun project, we would gladly take that.
This one really has a bushel and a peck of potatoes.
Bushel and a peck of potatoes. What did you say last time, Chris? It was like it's a whole field of potatoes, multiple.
It's
fields.
Like no, it was a finca. It was a finca. It was a finca, like a manzana of like potatoes, just like it's.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I think next time that you review a gay themed movie, you need to have gay representation.
It's true. Absolutely. Nat and I can't pull it off by ourselves. We're like, it would just be ridiculous. So we would not do well.
Like I'm an old school hag, but just
Nat could carry.
But she
Nat could carry the hag crown really well, but I would fail.
Do children say hag anymore? I don't think the kids know what a hag is anymore.
A fag hag?
Like it's more than an ally. Yeah, I'm like,
it's more than an ally. It's a higher level
of more than an ally.
What do they call it now? Like you're like a beard.
Yeah. Is it a beard now?
No, it's not the same.
Well, like it used to be a beard. Like now it's hag. I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever. If anybody is like a Gen Z that's watching this or a young millennial, like
we're sorry for you. They're very, very confused if they're watching. They're like, "What's a VHS?"
Yeah. Friend of Dorothy's, I think is what it used to be called.
Yeah, Friend of Dorothy. Yeah.
Friend of Dorothy. Yeah.
Never heard that. Yep. Friend of Dorothy.
Oh yeah.
You're not old enough, Chris.
You're not.
Wizard of Oz. Friend of Dorothy. That was it for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know my history.
Yeah, that was the code thing. If you met somebody, you could just say, "I'm a friend of Dorothy."
Yeah.
And it was code for I'm gay or something of that nature. And
or I'm a beard /hag/ally.
Yeah. Straight people didn't understand it. So it was kind of like this.
It allowed men to talk to each other. Yeah.
Understand that.
It's like if you were out, you knew you had like a green light or not to hit on someone, to flirt with somebody.
Be yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just flirt with everybody, so I really.
Chris is like, don't care.
Back in those days, it was you could proceed without punches.
Yeah.
Or being arrested or any terrible things that should never happen.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, thank you all for hanging out and for being flexible and moving this to a Wednesday. I feel I've been bad. It's totally my fault. Natalie's a saint. I'm like, you know what? I can't do Thursday. Thursdays in the summer are hard. There's like always something, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we made it work, and I promise to rewatch this one. We need next week. So let's go. We should go back to our list. Nat, what is next week's episode?
Well, Either we do a summer blockbuster or
Oh, right. You wanted to start
a
Jurassic
summer
Park.
slasher.
Oh, summer slasher.
Hold on. Okay. I'm
Chris
just
thinks
looking
he's
right
gonna,
now.
he's gonna zoom in. Good.
I'm just looking. I see Star Wars and I see
Yeah.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
I
You've been
see
there. Robin Hood Prince of Thieves would be a good one.
That was a
I
blockbuster.
Jurassic Park. Hello.
Yeah, that's why I said yeah, maybe Jurassic Park. I'm feeling Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do Jurassic Park. That's always good.
Paul, what do you think?
I remember when the new one came out, Jurassic World, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, this is kind of stupid. And then 5 seconds later, I'm like, but there are motherfucking dinosaurs. This is so cool. Reverted to a child.
Hocus Pocus.
Immediately.
Okay, we have to.
Jurassic
need
Park would be good
a-
too. I
Yeah.
worked for the company that made the dinosaurs walk.
Did you really? That's
Really?
awesome. Nat-
Right?
I know.
We're doing it. That's it.
Like, I do
doing
want to
it.
go
We're
to
in.
Hawaii. I really want to go to Hawaii, not just to say hi to Doc, but because I want to go to where they filmed Jurassic Park.
Wasn't it in Costa Rica that they filmed it?
Oh, I think it was
Some of it,
Hawaii.
there's a tourist attraction in Hawaii.
Doc will tell us.
Like they still have like some of the animatronics and stuff there. Like they
Oh.
still have some of the set there.
We
I
need
don't
to
think
save.
all of it was set in Hawaii, but some of it was
We need to save Hocus Pocus
for
to
Halloween.
October.
Halloween season. Yeah.
And then we need Nat, you need to come here, and we need to just go to Salem because there's like a tour of all of the like filming locations of
Ooh.
Hocus Pocus. So we're like
On
we're in
location.
Hocus Pocus like area. Paul's gonna be here in October for Ecamp's creator camp. So there's like potential to duck away and do a Salem Hocus Pocus tour, which I have not yet done myself. Doc says there's a lot in Hawaii, so you are correct, Nat. Not that you're
Yes.
surprised, but you're correct anyway. All right, so next week, Jurassic Park, and then we'll go from there. But we will release our list. So if there's something that's not on our list, which I would be surprised, but Paul said there's thousands of movies, so likely we're missing something.
Yeah.
So you can add to the list.
15,000 movies.
They'll be here for at least through the next decade.
Yeah.
Oh, Doc says that his family runs the ranch, so you need to let him know, Nat. Oh my goodness, Nat's gonna.
Oh my
Run-
God.
Excitement.
Ranch? Where? What ranch?
The
The
Jurassic
Jurassic
Park
Park.
Ranch.
Doc, will you come on the episode to talk Jurassic Park and like share some behind the scenes photos? Have you been to the ranch? We want to know more. Inquiring minds want to know more.
Natalie's on a plane tomorrow.
Yeah.
No.
Where's
I
my
want-
passport?
I just came back from Rojan. I'm like, I'm good to go again. I'm like,
Chris is in
all
travel
my
mode.
stuff is packed. I'm like good to go.
Good to go. Good to go. Live from Hawaii. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll do Jurassic Park, and then we'll all pack our bags for a Hawaii trip. It'll be super fun. Well, there we go. We have the name of it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because Doc will yell at me, but K something ranch.
Kualoa?
Kualoa Ranch. Doc will make fun of me, but there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. We're on our way. We will find the pronunciation guide so that Doc doesn't make fun of us next time.
Right now.
Chris is on it.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and thank you guys for joining us, Paul and Chris.
Oh, yes.
And if you
Katie,
want,
where can they find us?
I know. Yeah. I keep saying we need to make this as like a recorded outro because I never ever remember. The Doc says Kualoa. Got it?
Kualoa.
If you would like to check us out, we are the VHS Club Video Podcast. You can find us Thursday, normally Wednesday or Thursdays, at 9 p.m. Eastern. We live stream on YouTube. And then this episode becomes then a recorded video that you can check out anytime after that date. Always replays available on our YouTube channel. Or you can listen wherever you like, whenever you like on your favorite podcast player. We're available on all of them. And the more that you like, share, review, and tell all of your friends about it and share all your movie requests with us, the better chance we have of getting onto YouTube Music and being an official YouTube podcast. So we'd appreciate it. Leave us a 5-star review and share with all of your friends so that we can keep doing this thing. But frankly, we're going to keep doing it anyway. So, you know.
And just remember to rewind the stream before you turn it in.
Rewind the stream before you turn it in. We may have to add in favorite video store moments. That was like our OG idea. We never really got there. So if you have a favorite blockbuster or movie rental moment that you want to share with us, you can follow us on Instagram. The link is in the description. You can also send us an email And the link again is in the description. We'd love to hear from you. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
See you next
It's been fun.
time. Bye, everyone.